cool. We got to check out the Traveler's Star Camp, become part of the Amalur Thieves Guild. Not that we really need an excuse to pick every lock that we find, but hey, they have a pretty interesting story, actually. We'll be seeing a lot more of them. Right now, I want to go pick up all the Plagueshield.
These are red leaves.
Help out the town back there. We'll also be clearing a cave with a bunch of Jotun who have basically caused the boggarts to start attacking all the townspeople, spreading their blood plague. Hopefully we can find a few war stones along the way, complete the set for this area. Okay, dude, enough of the arrows, man. Yeah, suck on that, yeah. I'm starting to pick up more great swords. That's a good sign. To be honest, I'm really not one for big flowery looking weapons with lots of curves and stuff. I mean, some engravings, especially if you have like glowing runes and stuff like that in your sword. Now that's pretty cool, I'll admit that. But the really floral-esque looking designs and stuff, I prefer somewhat of a simpler sword.
As the lapping upon the shore, the herald of the royal seat, as the storm that shakes the sky. The maiden of the forest spring, as the flame attracts the fly. The lion's claw and dove's wing, eventually both will die.
Okay, that made 0 sense. At least for right now, it makes 0 sense. Oh, I see you over there. Yeah, pissed off the boggarts. And a bear. Okay, now what I was saying at the very beginning of the game, when you set it on hard, not that it's necessarily really ever hard, so to speak, but what the enemies can do is like, okay, we have one of those wolf thingies over there, and then you got a bear, and you have some boggarts and stuff. Essentially, if they're attacking you all at once, they can attack you all at once, as opposed to lower difficulties where they essentially kind of have to take turns, you know, like an action kung fu movie type thing, where everyone kind of stands around in a circle and hits you one at a time. Screw that. In this, if they're attacking, they're attacking. There's no restrictions. In other words, they're not limited in their attacks. You know, to kind of keep it organized, they can just be one big cluster. And there are times where certain enemies, grouped with other enemies, that it can actually be a challenge. It can actually be pretty nasty. There are these enemies that we'll see later, more often than I would like, actually. They kind of resemble, I guess you could say, a scorpion, sort of. Anyway, when they sting you, they hit hard, and they hit aggressively, and they attack. They move quickly, and they can sometimes be surrounded by, say, a group of brownies or those infected boggarts or something like that. And before you get a chance to recover, they can kill you. So I don't think the damage output is high enough for this difficulty, in my opinion. And I don't think the enemies take enough damage either. My opinion again. But they certainly are aggressive. They had everything in the works. I think what this game could have used was an update with a new mode. A mode that maybe didn't have to restrict the player much more, but just gave the enemies maybe some more immunities and stuff. Kind of like an insanity mode, say, on Mass Effect, or a nightmare mode on Dragon Age. Give them some extra immunities, make them maybe even more aggressive, move a little faster, and attack the same way, attack all at once. I kind of like that. I'll tell you what, if me and three of my friends are trying to do the whole gang thing and click on you, all right, we're going to attack you all at once, okay? We're not going to take turns and be all gentlemanly about it. I'm sorry, that the whole idea of ganging up on somebody is to mob them, right? And so the enemies do that here. They had that in place. The mechanics work really well. It's just, and it's smooth as silk. Notice there's not a lot of lag, and the combat's really fluid. So they did that right. It's just, I think the numbers, I don't know, they could have been a little less, I guess you could say, player friendly, especially considering crafting. I think if you were to adjust the numbers a little bit to where it required you to craft a weapon, have some health regen and say higher critical chance and higher damage overall, and a nice damage base on your weapon with a nice upgrade like, you know, poison or lightning or, you know, whatever you're using, that type of stuff. And make the difficulty scaling require that, to where if you don't keep up with your gear, that you wind up falling behind and things become brutally difficult. That to me would have been really good balance for that mode. And if players don't want to play that, there's easier modes. You don't just not put that in there though, because especially players that once they get a hang of the game and get comfortable with it, things become easier. You know where the enemy placements are. You know where you're going to get attacked from. There's no more real surprises or anything. You want more challenging combat, and so. But the studio wasn't around long enough to ever put out an update like that. I don't doubt that they might have at some point put in a, you know, a very hard mode, something simple like that. I would have really liked to have seen that. Prismere dust, nice. That's actually kind of rare. Kind of like getting Essence of Fate when you kill a bunch of enemies with a Fate Shift. Oh, that was nice. They don't get much easier than that. I think that's a hidden wall. I believe there's a secret room behind there. You got to get your detect hidden up to a certain point. You start seeing those too. Then eventually you get to where every lore stone is revealed on the map. And that is beautiful. I think you basically have to explore an area, but your, what would you call it, lantern view, the amount of area that you reveal as you're exploring, anything that's basically within that, you become aware of. Oh, nice blue armor. That's what I'm talking about. And it makes it much easier to find the collectibles. I mean, much, much easier. It's almost best just to hold off on finding all those until you get that, unless you already know where a bunch of them are at ahead of time, because it makes a huge difference. If you're going for all the lore stones, that's one of the achievements that you're going to have to complete the game and maybe go and do some backtracking once the game's done to go find the rest of them.
By Mitharu, I am growing worried for Brother Felon. The day is come and gone, and he still has not returned.
Oh, I got bad news, man.
Killed? Oh dear. Well, he is with Mitharu now. I hesitate to ask, but did you happen to take his prayer beads? Terrible if they were left to lie there with him. Why, yes, they are. And so he is dead then? Well, he has joined Mitharu. You should know we have a tradition. Rather than bury prayer beads, they are passed on to some other believer. Tell me, do you adhere to Mitharu's creed?
You might want to tell me what it is first.
To honor and uphold the forces of order and good. Our religious mission is to see chaos and suffering laid low beneath Mitharu's hammer.
Oh, I'm down with that. Yeah.
Mitharu is not a jealous power. You are still a child of order if you do good. Keep the beads and do as I tell you. At each mission, Odwig's, Edric's, and our own, there is a special shrine to Mitharu. Go you and pray at each one, and the power of Mitharu will grant your beads great and greater strength. Mitharu watch and guide you always.
Actually, these beads give you strength to battle demons. And, hey, I'm down with that. To crush evil under a hammer, which is usually what it takes. Contrary to popular opinion these days, it does take a hammer. Pampering and taking care of evil in prisons is not the answer. Crushing it with a hammer, or an electric chair, or a bullet, or whatever's cheapest. Oh, look at that. Okay, that was pretty nice. That was lucky. Oh, this dude. You almost want to kill him just for the way he runs. Ah, he wants to lead you to an ambush because he's scared to fight you himself, huh? Oh, you gonna drag me over to your buddies? I might have already killed your buddies, bitch. And it's just me and you, coward. Cowardly bandit. All right, I gotcha. Yeah, he's the one that gets you to chase him and draw you into a crowd. Mm-hmm. Oh, what a surprise for you. All your little girlfriends are dead. Now so are you. Didn't even give him a chance to run his mouth. I'll take that last Plagueshield. That's what I'm talking about. Do the world a favor by getting rid of the trash. Get the Plagueshield, which needed to go to the people that are sick and suffering. Bandits would have probably tried to find some way to sell it on the black market or something. Always making the world a worse place. Just by existing. Okay, this is where we need to go clear out those Jotuns, so it's good we discovered that. Now we can just fast travel straight back here. See, it's nice when things work out like this. See that critical pop up there? We'll be seeing a lot more of those later on. Ah, I should have blocked. Aggravated shits. Spinning around in circles. Yeah. The way they attack you. It's awesome. We have a level up too. Nice. Come on. There we go. Each city or town you run into has its own set of problems or drama going on.
That's all the Plagueshield then. We have enough to last for a while yet, at any rate. Please, have this as thanks. Normally, I'd say it's not as bad as it sounds. Doesn't kill most of the time, just weakens. Only half the village has it now, and a bedridden village starves sooner or later. On with you, get.
Get? Well, I don't have any curses right now, so I don't need any healing services. Alright, so time to start investing in blacksmithing. Sage crafting is going to be good. Alchemy, I'd like to put some points into that at some point. Hopefully we'll have a bunch of money by the time we get to the Gardens of Issa and be able to do a bunch of training and that type of stuff too. Okay, now that reduces the casting cost of all abilities, not just magic ones. So like our little poison blades, little darts that we throw, the cost of that is reduced now. Okay, there's some passives we start eventually getting active here too, but right now we need to build up our greatsword damage, chakram damage, stuff like that. Still have points to put, and then eventually we'll just start sinking everything into might, but I like getting all my stuff equal. You can be a little bit stronger earlier by putting everything in the might tree first and then moving on, but there's other stuff that I think comes in really handy with the other skills. We're essentially a might build, but there are, like I say, a finesse ability and a finesse passive that we use, and then some passives from the sorcery tree as well as the use of chakrams. You want to raise the strength of those if you're using them. If you're using a bow, then you can sink everything in the finesse tree and probably leave sorcery all alone altogether if you want. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we will get back to it on the next one. All right, I'll take care. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.